The Nathan West Enigma, unraveling the dark secrets behind his return to General Hospital. The resurrection of Nathan West has sent shockwaves through Port Charles. But beneath the surface of this miraculous return lies a web of deception, hidden agendas, and disturbing questions that may fundamentally alter everything fans thought they knew about this beloved character. When Nathan awakens from his coma claiming memory loss, only to secretly visit the unconscious Maxie and inject her with an unknown substance, the implications become chilling. What dark transformation has Nathan undergone during his 7-year absence? And what sinister secret compels him to deceive everyone, including the woman he once loved? Nathan's purported memory loss represents a masterful manipulation that reveals the calculated nature of his return. Medical evidence suggests his amnesia may be entirely fabricated, serving as a strategic cover for his true intentions. This deliberate deception demonstrates a level of psychological sophistication that contradicts the honest, straightforward detective Port Charles once knew. The Nathan who genuinely forgot his past would never have possessed the cunning to orchestrate such an elaborate charade, suggesting his transformation runs deeper than mere physical survival. The timing of his memory claims proves particularly suspicious. Nathan conveniently remembers being shot by Caesar Faison but claims complete ignorance about the subsequent 7 years. This selective amnesia allows him to avoid explaining his whereabouts while gathering intelligence about current relationships and loyalties in Port Charles. His interactions with medical staff and family members reveal a man carefully calibrating his responses, not someone genuinely struggling with memory loss. The Nathan who emerges from this supposed amnesia displays knowledge and awareness that contradicts his claims of mental blankness. Furthermore, his ability to navigate complex emotional situations with precision belies his alleged confusion. When confronted with news of Maxie's condition, Nathan's reactions appear measured rather than genuinely shocked. A truly amnesiac individual would display more authentic confusion and emotional volatility. When learning about such devastating developments in his former life, the midnight injection, a calculated act of medical intervention, Nathan's clandestine visit to Maxie's bedside represents the most disturbing aspect of his return. Under cover of darkness, he administers an injection to his comatose wife, an act that raises profound questions about his motivations and mental state. This secret medical intervention suggests Nathan possesses specialized knowledge and access to substances that ordinary civilians, even former police officers, would not typically have. The injection itself could serve multiple purposes, each more troubling than the last. If Nathan administered an antidote to whatever poisoned Maxie, it implies he possessed advanced knowledge of her condition or the toxin used against her. This foreknowledge would indicate his involvement in a conspiracy that extends far beyond his supposed recent return to Port Charles. The precision required for such a medical intervention suggests training or experience gained during his mysterious 7-year absence. Alternatively, the injection might represent something far more sinister. If Nathan has indeed been transformed into an agent of his father's organization, the substance could be designed to ensure Maxie's continued unconsciousness, or to implant some form of control mechanism. The fact that Maxie awakens only after Nathan's departure creates a suspicious temporal connection that cannot be dismissed as coincidence. The mounting evidence suggests Nathan may have inherited more than just his father's genetics, may have assumed control of Caesar Faison's entire criminal empire. Multiple sources indicate someone has been running Faison's operations since his supposed death, and Nathan's return timing correlates suspiciously with recent escalations in organized criminal activity. This possibility transforms Nathan from victim to orchestrator, fundamentally altering the nature of his character. During his captivity, Nathan may have been subjected to the same memory manipulation techniques his father employed on Drew Kane. However, rather than erasing his memories, these procedures might have altered his personality and loyalties, transforming him into a willing heir to Faison's dark legacy. The psychological conditioning could explain his ability to maintain such convincing deception while pursuing objectives that serve criminal interests rather than his former moral compass. The relationship between Nathan and Britt Westburn becomes particularly significant in this context. Britt's own mysterious circumstances and her apparent foreknowledge of Nathan's survival suggest a family conspiracy that extends beyond simple sibling bonds. If Nathan has indeed been running their father's organization, Britt's cooperation might have been secured through coercion, manipulation, or shared transformation under Faison's influence. Laboratory experiments and psychological conditioning evidence suggests Nathan spent his missing years as a subject in Professor Henry Dalton's experimental facility, possibly alongside his sister Britt. These laboratories, connected to the Five Poppies Resort Network, specialize in human experimentation that could explain Nathan's apparent personality transformation. Unlike Britt, who maintained some agency during her captivity, Nathan may have been subjected to more intensive conditioning protocols. The experiments likely focused on memory manipulation, personality restructuring, and behavioral conditioning designed to create operatives loyal to Faison's organization. Nathan's apparent retention of his investigative skills, while displaying fundamentally altered moral priorities, suggests selective conditioning, rather than wholesale memory erasure. This sophisticated approach would preserve useful abilities, while redirecting them toward criminal objectives. The physical evidence of Nathan's captivity, including his head injury from the recent accident, might represent his escape attempt or rescue rather than a random traffic incident. His disoriented arrival in Port Charles could indicate he was fleeing the facility, or was deliberately released as part of a larger operational plan. The Maxie strategy, control through compassion. Nathan's relationship with Maxie represents both his greatest vulnerability and most powerful tool for manipulation. By positioning himself as her savior through the mysterious injection, Nathan creates a narrative of redemption and love that masks potentially manipulative intentions. Maxie's awakening after his visit reinforces his heroic image, while concealing the true nature of his intervention. The timing of Nathan's return, coinciding perfectly with Maxie's medical crisis, suggests careful planning rather than fortunate coincidence. If Nathan has been monitoring Port Charles from afar, he would have known about Maxie's poisoning and her transfer to Boston. His dramatic reappearance creates maximum emotional impact, while providing cover for his true activities. Maxie's continued unconsciousness serves Nathan's interests by preventing her from asking difficult questions about his whereabouts or observing inconsistencies in his behavior. When she eventually awakens, she will face the overwhelming emotions of his return rather than maintaining the analytical distance necessary to detect deception. This emotional manipulation represents a sophisticated understanding of human psychology that the old Nathan never possessed. The Westburn family dynamics reveal a complex web of secrets and manipulation that extends far beyond Nathan's individual transformation. Liesl Obrich's reactions to both Britt and Nathan's returns suggest she suspects more than she reveals about their circumstances. Her medical expertise would allow her to detect inconsistencies in their stories, yet her emotional investment in having her children back might compromise her objectivity. Nina Reeves' role becomes particularly significant given her close relationship with Nathan and her connections to various Port Charles power structures. Her reactions to Nathan's return and his responses to her presence will provide crucial indicators of his true mental state and intentions. If Nathan maintains his emotional connections to Nina while displaying altered loyalties elsewhere, it suggests selective conditioning rather than complete personality destruction. The broader implications of Nathan's transformation extend throughout Port Charles society. His position as a former police detective provides him with insider knowledge of law enforcement procedures and ongoing investigations. If he has indeed been converted into a criminal operative, this information represents a significant security breach that could compromise multiple ongoing cases and investigations. Next, we will dive deep into the swirling storm of family secrets that's got everyone buzzing. Cooled. Britt Westburn's shocking death have been a masterful ploy to pull her brother, Nathan West, from the jaws of peril. In the shadowy underbelly of Port Charles, where alliances shift like quicksand, Britt Westburn's supposed demise has long been a puzzle wrapped in enigma. Imagine this: Britt, ever the fierce protector, stumbles upon a whisper from the World Security Bureau that her beloved brother Nathan isn't gone for good but trapped in a web of danger. Instead of rushing into the fray and risking her mother's safety, Liesl Obrich, with her own tangled history of heartbreak, hatches a bold scheme. By faking her death at the hands of the infamous Hook Killer, Britt slips into the shadows like a ghost, operating undetected to orchestrate Nathan's rescue. This isn't just survival. It's a calculated dance to shield her family from vengeful forces lurking in the background. But Nathan's dramatic return via a fiery car crash this week throws everything into chaos. As he lies in the hospital bed, battered but alive, questions pile up. Did Britt's covert signals finally reach him? Or did he break free on his own steam? If someone like the stoic Jason Morgan, with his keen instincts honed from years in the mob world, starts piecing together the clues, Britt's elaborate facade could crumble, revealing a tale of sibling devotion that might either reunite the fractured Westbourne clan or ignite fresh betrayals. Delving deeper into this theory, Britt's faked passing wasn't some random twist of fate, but a heroic gambit born from desperation. Picture her, months ago, piecing together fragments of intel, perhaps a leaked document from her time entangled with the sinister Five Poppies group, or a hushed conversation overheard in the corridors of power. Nathan, presumed dead after his own tragic end, was actually alive, possibly held captive by remnants of Caesar Phaeton's empire or the ruthless arms dealer Jen Sidwell, whose grudges run as deep as the ocean. Britt knew that going public would paint a target on everyone's back, including her vulnerable mother Liesel, who had already endured unimaginable loss. So, she chose the path of sacrifice, staging her death with meticulous precision, complete with forged medical records and a trail of misdirection that fooled even the sharpest eyes in Port Charles. This allowed her to vanish, pulling strings from Aframabe, enlisting anonymous allies or hacking into secure networks to track Nathan's location. Her recent odd behaviors, like those frantic requests for medications that seemed out of character, now make sense as threads in her ongoing cover story, designed to maintain the illusion while she worked tirelessly. Yet, Nathan's reckless dash back to town, culminating in that harrowing crash, suggests he might have intercepted one of her messages and bolted prematurely. As Britt approaches his bedside, her heart pounding with a mix of relief and terror, the weight of her secrets could finally lift her, explode in a shower of revelations that drag innocent bystanders into the crossfire. The emotional core of this saga revolves around the brittle bond between Britt and her mother, Liesel Obrecht, a woman who's no stranger to deception and loss. Liesel's rage over Britt's death has left their relationship in ruins, a gaping wound festered by grief and unanswered questions. But what if the truth emerges that Britt's ruse was all for Nathan's sake? Envision Liesel's face as the pieces fall into place, learning that her daughter didn't abandon her, but endured isolation to resurrect her son from the dead. This could transform Liesel's fury into profound gratitude, mending the family tapestry that's been torn asunder. After all, Liesel has mourned both children, her world shattered twice over. Discovering Nathan's survival thanks to Britt's bravery might spark a heartfelt reconciliation, perhaps even drawing an extended family like Nina Reeves, who shares her own complicated ties to the Westbournes. However, complications loom large if investigators like Dante Falconeri, with his detective's precision, start probing the crash's anomalous strange tire marks suggesting pursuit, or encrypted messages on Nathan's recovered Finethy could unravel the plot. Before Britt controls the narrative, Jason, leveraging his underground connections, might sense the inconsistencies in Britt's story, forcing a confrontation that tests loyalties. In this high-stakes game, Britt's secrecy was meant to safeguard her loved ones, but Nathan's untimely arrival acts like a lit fuse, potentially leading to forgiveness or a deeper sense of betrayal that echoes through Port Charles. Like thunder, shifting focus to the title that's got fans speculating wildly, ABC General Hospital spoilers. Britt staged her death to save her brother, and someone is about to figure it out. Nathan's lone wolf crash into Port Charles doesn't align with a perfectly sensed escape plan. If Britt was indeed masterminding from the shadows, why the frantic haste? Theories abound that her subtle cues may be a coded signal through a trusted intermediary, or a digital breadcrumb trail finally galvanized him into action. But external threats like Sidwell's henchmen hot on his trail could explain the wreck's violence. Add in invented elements like a hidden safe house where Britt stashed evidence of Nathan's captivity, complete with surveillance photos and intercepted communications, and the plot thickens. When Britt arrives at the hospital, her records of their clandestine communications might spill out in a moment of vulnerability, exposing the full extent of her deception. But danger shadows this reunion. If enemies have tailed Nathan, it could endanger the entire circle. From Liesel's fragile recovery to unsuspecting friends like Damien Spinelli, whose tech wizardry might inadvertently hack into the wrong files. Someone close, perhaps Nina, with her intuitive grasp of family drama, or Spinelli, piecing together digital anomalies could connect the dots first, either rallying the family in unity or unleashing a wave of chaos that fractures alliances forever. Will Britt's buried truth emerge as a beacon of healing, or has the web of lies spun too far, entangling everyone in irreversible consequences? Expanding on the ripple effects, consider how this revelation could reshape the broader landscape of General Hospital. Britt's actions, if proven, paint her not as a victim of the Hook killer, but as a strategic hero, flipping the script on her character's arc from troubled doctor to underground savior. Invent new layers, like Britt forging alliances with unlikely WSB operatives during her exile, gathering intel that not only freed Nathan, but uncovered larger threats to Port Charles, such as a brewing syndicate war involving Faison's old network. Nathan's crash, far from accidental, might stem from a high-speed chase evading captors, his vehicle rigged with clues that point back to Britt's involvement, perhaps a concealed note, or a tracker she planted for safety. As the hospital buzzes with activity, characters like Jason could overhear whispered conversations, his protective instincts kicking in to shield the siblings, while grappling with his own resurrected past. Liesel's potential forgiveness adds a poignant twist. Imagine her channeling her scientific genius to aid in Nathan's recovery, turning grief into action. Yet, the risk of exposure by Dante's investigation looms, with forensic evidence from the crash-sitted tire treads matching known criminal vehicle streeting, to blow the lid off. In this intricate dance of secrets, Britt's gamble could either fortify family bonds or shatter them, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats for the next explosive chapter. Wrapping up this deep dive, the theory of Britt's fake death as a lifeline for Nathan injects fresh intrigue into General Hospital's tapestry of drama, with new elements like hidden correspondences and shadowy pursuits amplifying the stakes. The sibling saga promises heart-wrenching confrontations and possible redemptions. Next, we will uncover the explosive drama surrounding Jack Brennan's potential brush with death, and how it might just be the key to thawing Carly Spencer's icy fury once the truth about Jocelyn Jacks erupts into the open. In the high-stakes world of Port Charles, where secrets fester like hidden wounds, Jack Brennan's life could soon hang by a thread, potentially reshaping his turbulent romance with Carly Spencer. Right now, Carly views Brennan's secretive nature as par for the course in his shadowy line of work with the World Security Bureau, brushing it off without a second thought. But that's only because the full picture remains obscured. She has no inkling that Brennan personally drew her daughter Jocelyn into the perilous web of WSB operations, thrusting her into situations that could have ended in tragedy. Invent a layer here. Perhaps Brennan, under pressure from higher-ups, saw Jocelyn's determination and resourcefulness as assets, recruiting her during a clandestine meeting at the docks, promising adventure but downplaying the lethal risks. When the truth hits, Carly's reaction will be volcanic, a mother's protective rage unleashed, especially given her history of heartbreak. The mere thought of Jocelyn teetering on the edge of danger, all because of Brennan's decisions, could shatter Carly's trust irreparably, leading her to sever ties in a blaze of accusations and regret. Zooming in on the Croatia mission that nearly claimed Jocelyn's life, the stakes become crystal clear, highlighting just how close Carly came to another devastating loss. Without the timely intervention of Britt Westburn's medical expertise, and Jason Morgan's tactical prowess, perhaps involving a daring extraction from a fortified compound, riddled with armed guards, Jocelyn might not have made it out alive. Add inventive details. Envision Jocelyn trapped in a crumbling warehouse, dodging gunfire while decoding encrypted files, her survival hinging on a last-minute signal flare that alerted her rescuers. Brennan's role in assigning her to such a hazardous op essentially gambled with her future, a reckless move that echoes the tragedy of Carly's son Morgan Corinthos, whose untimely death left an indelible scar on her soul. Carly has confided in close friends about the nightmares that still haunt her, the paralyzing fear of burying another child. Learning of this betrayal could push her to the brink, questioning if she has the strength to endure yet another wave of grief. And with Jocelyn still embedded in the WSB's ongoing machinations, Mabe, now tasked with infiltrating a smuggling ring tied to international syndicate threats, multiply. From covert stakeouts gone wrong to ambushes in dimly lit alleys, ensuring that danger lurks around every corner. As the layers of deception peel away, Carly's inevitable discovery of Jocelyn's involvement promises a confrontation that's equal parts fury and heartbreak, potentially dooming her budding connection with Brennan. Picture the scene. Carly stumbles upon classified documents or overhears a hushed conversation at the Metro Court, her world tilting as the pieces connect. Brennan's recruitment pitch, the Croatia fiasco, and Jocelyn's secretive absences all clicking into place like a puzzle from hell. Her response, a storm of emotions, from tearful accusations in a rain-soaked parking lot to a public blowout that leaves bystanders whispering. Dumping Brennan seems like the logical endpoint, a clean break from a man whose lies nearly cost her everything. Yet, amid this turmoil, a sliver of hope emerges. Could a catastrophic event force Carly to reassess her stance? Invent new elements to heighten the tension? Perhaps Carly confronts Brennan in his office, slamming doors and shattering a vase, only for him to plead that his intentions were to empower Jocelyn, not endanger her, drawing parallels to his own losses in the field. Still, the betrayal stings too deeply, setting the stage for a relationship on the precipice, where forgiveness feels like a distant dream. Shifting gears to the brewing storm of vengeance, Brennan's position as a prime target for retaliation adds a lethal twist that could inadvertently save his romance. General Hospital teasers indicate Valentin Casadini is plotting a daring escape, forging an unexpected alliance maybe with a rogue WSB insider or a black market operative who owes him a favor to break free from the iron grip of Steinmauer prison. Once loose, Valentin's path leads straight to Brennan, fueled by a simmering grudge over past betrayals, perhaps stemming from a botched operation where Brennan exposed Valentin's pikeman dealings, costing him millions and his freedom. Elaborate with fresh inventions. Imagine Valentin slipping through security with a forged identity, boarding a private jet under the cover of night, his mind laser-focused on exacting revenge through a meticulously planned ambush, complete with hired mercenaries and a cache of untraceable weapons. This collision course brews massive trouble, positioning Brennan in a life-or-death struggle that tests his survival skills against a cunning adversary who's always one step ahead. The climax of this revenge arc could see Brennan fighting for his very existence, a scenario that might just crack open Carly's hardened heart. Envision the sequence, just as Carly unleashes her wrath over Jocelyn's secret, storming into Brennan's quarters with evidence in hand, her voice echoing with betrayal. The attack unfolds. Valentin's forces strike, perhaps in a high-speed chase through Port Charles streets or a brutal showdown at a secluded warehouse, leaving Brennan gravely wounded, his body riddled with injuries from gunfire and debris. Rushed to General Hospital, he clings to life in a sterile ICU bed, monitors beeping erratically as doctors race against time. This near-fatal ordeal serves as a stark wake-up call for Carly, who arrives at his side amid the chaos, her anger momentarily eclipsed by the terror of almost losing him forever. Add inventive depth, perhaps in his delirium, Brennan murmurs regrets about Jocelyn, revealing a hidden vulnerability that humanizes him. Or Carly finds a locket in his possessions containing a photo of her, symbolizing his genuine affection. This brush with mortality prompts her to reflect on their shared moments, stolen kisses, the quiet confession spottily paving the way for reconciliation, as the fragility of life outweighs the weight of deception. In essence, as ABC General Hospital spoilers unfold, Carly faces a torrent of disturbing revelations about Jocelyn's perilous path, compounded by Brennan's status as Valentin's vendetta target. This perfect storm of secrets and survival could either dismantle their bond or forge it anew in the fires of adversity, leaving fans riveted by the emotional roller coaster. What twists await in Port Charles? Keep watching. Spoilers enthusiasts, the drama is just heating up.